And my partner for this reporting is Largo Ivan. Our topic is research method. Bak, bak, our topic for today is research method chapter 13, thesis and capstone project general outline. Next. The topics to be discussed are the first one is the five chapter and capstone. The second one is introduction research objective. And the fourth one, significance of the study. The fifth one, conceptual framework. And the last one is scope and limitation of the research. Next. Again, my name is Mary J. Ba. Again, my name is Mary J. Bautista. The topic na i-discuss ko po is the five chapters approach to the thesis and capstone, introduction, and research objectives. Next. The five chapter approach to the thesis and capstone. The five chapter approach is a commonly used structure for organizing a thesis or a capstone project. It provides a systematic and logical framework to present the research in a comprehensive manner. Each chapter serves a specific purpose, contributing to the overall understanding of the study. Next. In the five chapter approach to the thesis and capstone, we have the introduction. The purpose for the research should not be a mystery. Begin the section with a one-sentence research problem statement that includes the variable study. Sa introduction po, meron po tayong introduction to the study which is nagpo-provide ng overview of the topic, introduces the research problem or question. Meron din tayong statement of the problem, clearly articulates the problem being addressed by the study. Meron ding sa introduction, meron ding purpose of the study, describe the overall goal or objective of the research. Meron ding research question or hypothesis, states the specific question or hypothesis guiding the study. Meron ding significance, that explain the importance and potential contributions of the research. We have also the scope and limitation that defines the boundaries of the study and the constraints. The next one is Chapter 2, Literature Review. This describes the history of the topic and the key literature sources, illustrates major issues, and refines focus to indicate research questions. Sa literature review, we have theoretical framework. This presents the theoretical perspective informing the study. We have also conceptual frameworks that provide a conceptual map or model guiding the research. And the next is chapter 3, the methodology. Can be either qualitative or quantitative, provide a rationale for using the particular methodology either for the entire applied research project for each specific research question. The methodology, we have the introduction to the methodology that provides an overview of the research design. Meron din research design na nagde-describe the overall approach, the qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. We have also the participants, details the characteristics of the study population and the sampling procedure. We have data collection that describe the instrument or tools used and procedure for the data collection. Data analysis that explain the methods used to analyze the data. Ethical considerations addresses ethical issues including consent and confidentiality. And the last one in the methodology is we have a limitation, and then identify potential limitation and discuss their impact. The chapter 4 is the result. Now, you need to explain every piece of information you have collected in detail, and in the result, we have the introduction to result, introduces the presentation of findings, the descriptive statistics, present basic statistics related to data, inferential statistics, present result for a statistical test or analysis, qualitative findings that present and discuss key qualitative findings, visual presentation, figures and graph to illustrate results. And the last one is comparison with the research questions and hypotheses. Assess how the results align with the research questions or hypotheses. And the last one is chapter 5, the discussion and conclusion that provide your reader with a deep analysis of what your data means in the real world and how it leads the changes. The discussion and conclusion, we have the introduction to the discussion that introduces the discussion of results. We have also interpretation of findings, which means interpret and analyzes the result in the context of the research question. We have also theoretical implication that discusses how the findings contribute to or challenge existing theories. We have also practical implication that examines the practical implication of the study result. We have recommendation that offers recommendation for future researches or practice. We have conclusion that summarize the main findings and their significance. And we have the limitation and suggestion for future research, which means revisit limitation and suggested direction for the future research. And the last one, into the chapter 5 discussion and conclusion, we have final remarks that provide concluding thoughts and reflection. This structured approach, the overall, this structured approach provides a clear and organized way to present the research process, finding, and implication. It ensures that the reader can follow the logical flow of the research and understand its significance within the broader context of the field of the study. Next. The second topic is introduction. The introduction is a critical component of any academic work, setting the stage for the entire study. It provides context, defines the scope, and introduces the main elements of the research. Next. Key elements typically found in the introduction. We have the introduction to the study that includes background and context, that provides an overview of the broader topic, establishes the context in which research is created. And the next one is statement of the problem. We have identification of the problem that clearly articulates the specific issues or problem that research aims to address. We have also purpose of the study that is the overall goal or objective of the research that explain what the study aims to achieve. The third one, research question or hypothesis. We have the research question that lists the specific questions the research seeks to answer, align with the identified problem. The fourth one is significance of the study. We have contribution to the field that describe how the study contributes to existing knowledge. Next, we have scope and limitation. The scope and limitation, we have the scope of the study that defines the boundaries and parameters of the research to specify what is and isn't included. Then the second one is limitation, acknowledges potential constraints, challenges, or shortcomings, demonstrates a realistic understanding of the study's duration. The sixth one is definition of terms. We have the key concepts that clarifies and define essential terms or concepts used and the study aids in understanding the terminology employed. Uh, Next is organization of the study. We have the thesis capstone structures. Outline the structures and organization of the entire work, reviews what the reader can expect in each chapter. Uh, ang pang-8 pa is hook or engaging element. We have the engaging opening, includes compelling statement and quote or question to capture the reader's attention that set the tone to the rest of the work. And number 9 is transition to the literature review. We have the link to previous chapter, provides a smooth transition to the literature review chapter, and clearly indicates how the literature review builds on the introduction. And the last one is conclusion of the introduction. We have the summary of the key points. It explains briefly summarizes the main points covered in the introduction, reinforces the importance of the study. Next. Yung last topic ko na i-discuss ko is research objective. Research objective are specific, measurable, and achievable goals that a researcher aims to accomplish within a study. They help to guide the research process and provide a clear direction for investigation. The research objectives are derived directly from the research questions and are designed to address the main purpose of the study. Next. I provided the 5 characteristics of research objective. We have the specific, which means objective. Objectives should be precise and focused, addressing a particular aspect of the research. It's clearly defined what the researcher intends to achieve. Next is measurable. Objectives should be quantifiable whenever possible and include criteria that allow for the measurement of success or completion. The third one is achievable. Objectives should be realistic and feasible within the constraints of the study. And the fourth one is relevant, which means objectives should directly contribute to answering the research questions that align with the overall purpose and significance of the study. And the last one is time bound, which means set a time frame or deadline for achieving help in planning and managing the research process and
Tahimik na ako?
So good afternoon, sir. My name is Aban Laga, and I'll discuss to you about significance of the study, conceptual framework, and scope and limitation of the research. So significance of study. The significance of study outline the importance and relevance of the research. It answered the question of why the study is worth conducting and how it's contribute to existing knowledge or address a particular problem. This section typically highlights the potential impact of research on academia, industry, policy, or society as whole. It emphasizes the value of study in terms of filling gaps in knowledge, solving practical problems, or advising the theoretical framework and conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is a structure that provides a comprehensive and organized present representation of key concepts or variables in the study. It serves as a roadmap for understanding the relationship between this concept and helps guides the research process. This framework often includes a set of theoretical principles, hypotheses, or models that inform the study design and methodology. It visualizes, illustrate researcher understanding of the factor influencing the phenomenon under investigation and aid in the formulation of research question or hypothesis. And last is scope and limitation of research. The scope of the scope of the research defines the boundary extent of the study. It specifies what is included and excluded from the investigation, helping reader understand the context and limitation of the research. Limitation, on the other hand, acknowledge the constraints or challenge that may affect the study validity or generalizability. This section is essential for managing expectation and provide transparency about the study constraints, such as time, resource, or access to data. It helps readers to interpret the finding with clear understanding of the study boundaries. So, significance of the study. A written statement that explains why your research was needed. It has just justification of the importance of your work, and in fact, it has an on your research field in contributes to the new knowledge and how other will benefits. Ex- the significance of studies. Here are key points to consider when discussing the significance of the study. Academic contribution. Highlight how the study adds to existing body of knowledge. This may involve addressing gaps in the literatures, offering new insight or challenging existing theories. Next is practical relevance. Emphasize the practical im- implications of the research. How can the findings be applied in real-world scenario? Will it contribute to solving practical problems or improving current practice? And next is social impact. Discuss how the study may benefit society. This should involve improving people's lives, contributing to policy decision, or addressing social issues. And lastly, innovation. If if applicable, mention any innovation aspect of study, whether it's introducing methodology or technology, or prospectively innovation, add value to the research. Next is conceptual framework. A representation of relationship you accept to see between your variables or the characteristic or properties that you want to study. Conceptual framework can be written or visual and are generally developed based on literature review of existing study about your topic. So here's how to approach the conceptual framework. Identify key concept. Clearly defines the main concept and variable central to the study. This might involve the drawing from existing theories or creating new ones. Establishing a relationship. Specify the relationship between the identified concept. This can be visualized through diagrams or narrative explanation. Justify choices. Explain why certain concept and relationship were chosen. This could involve referencing established theories, empir- emph- empirical evidence or logical reasoning. Framework flexibility. Acknowledge that the conceptual framework may involve as research progress is dynamic guide that can be refined based on emerging findings. Last is scope and limitation of the research. Scope and limitation are two terms that address the detail of a research project. The term scope refers to the problem or issue that research want to study, with the project limitation is a term used for constraining the in fact that research ability is effect, effectively studied the scope of project. Here's how to address these aspects. So scope. Define the boundaries of the study, what is included and excluded, specify the time frame, geographical area, population, and any other relevant parameters. Limitation. Acknowledge potential constraint or challenge that might affect the research that could include resource limitation, data availability, or methodology constraint. Manage expectation. Clearly communicate what the research can and cannot achieve. Managing the expectation, help readers and stakeholders understand the study boundaries. And lastly, future researcher suggestion. Areas where future researcher could expand upon the current study. This demonstrate aware of the study limitation and forward-looking perspective. By addressing the significance of the study, establishing a solid conceptual framework, and outlining the scope and limitation, research provides a comprehensive overview that enhances the understanding and credibility of their work. So dito naman po, ipapakita ko rin po yung sample ng significance of study, conceptual framework, and scope limitation of research. Kung paano po sila nagkakasunod-sunod po. Then, by clearly stating the significance conceptual framework, scope, and limitation of the study, researcher can provide solid foundation for their investigation and help reader understand the context and boundaries of their work. That's all po.
Okay, so a while ago, no, our presenter discussed about the general outline, no, of this discussion. No? So regardless of the topic or methodology, the thesis, research, and capstone paper should follow the 5-chapter approach. No? And most commonly, we have following the EMRAD actually. No? And the main components may have divided into different subtopics, depend on the policy or outline of your school or universities. So, of course, we have, as I mentioned, we must follow. In IT, we have our own different content, no? Specifically when it comes to development. No? We have our own CMO intended for computer science, IT, and information system. But most commonly, during the presentations in the university, we are always asked, no, by the research department to provide a what do you call this one? A piece or an EMRAD, no? Introduction, Methodology, Research, and Discussion. And I'll just want to give a floor, no, to the next presenter. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmate. The next topic we are about to discuss is about literature review strategies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher, and I will discuss what is literature review. So, the literature review is a critical look at the existing research that is significant to the work that you are carrying out. This overview identifies prominent research trends in addition to assessing the overall strength and weaknesses of the existing research. So what are the purpose of literature review? First one is to provide background information about the research topic. The second one is to establish the importance of a topic. The third one is to demonstrate familiarity with the topic or problem. And last, to carve out a space for further work and allow you to position yourself in a scholarly conversation.
What are the characteristics of effective literature review? The first one is outlining important research trends, summarize key trends in existing literature, providing context for the current state of knowledge, assessing strength and weakness of individual study as well the existing research as a whole, evaluate individual study and overall research, highlighting strengths and weaknesses to guide the reader in the understanding the reliability of findings. The third one is identify the knowledge gap. Point out area where research is lacking or insufficient. Emphasize gaps in current understanding. Establish research need. Justify the necessity of new research by demonstrating limitation or unanswered question, motivating the new need for further investigation. What are the steps of the literature review process? The first one is planning. Sa pagpaplano, dito natin malalaman kung ano ba yung mga dapat natin gawin upang makabuo ng isang literature review. Sa second one is reading and research. Dito, sa pagbabasa natin at pananaliksik ng mga research, malalaman natin kung magtutugma ba yung research na yon sa ginagawa nating research study. Sa pangatlo, analyzing. Pag sinabi natin analyzing, ina-analyze natin yung buong literature sa pamamagitan ng pagbubuod o pag-synthesize. Pag sinabi natin synthesize, ito yung pagsasama ng mga idea upang makabuo ng bagong idea. The fourth one is drafting. Dito, magsasagawa tayo ng pananaliksik upang maging organized din yung mga materials na ginamit natin. At kailangan mo din dito ipahayag yung perspective mo sa existing advising. Dito naman, aayusin mo na yung paper mo and gamit yung structural step and dapat maayos din yung grammarization ng research. The next one.
So, literature review format. So, the first one is the introduction. Provide an overview of the topic, theme, or issue. Second one is identify your specific area of focus. Third one, describe your methodology and rationale. How did you decide which sources to include and which to exclude. Why? How is your review organized? Fourth one, briefly discuss the overall trends in the published scholarship in this area. And last, establish your reason for writing the review. The next one is the body. Find the best organizational method for your review. Summarize sources by providing the most relevant information. Respectfully and objectively critique and evaluate the studies. Then last, use direct quotations sparingly, and only if appropriate.
The last is conclusion. The first one is summarize the major findings of the sources that you review, remembering to keep the focus on your topic. Evaluate the current state of scholarship in this area. Example is yung flaws of gaps in the research, inconsistent findings. Identify any area for further research. Conclude by making a connection between your topic and some larger area of study such as the discipline. Pwede rin tayo dito mag-recommend sa conclusion kung ano pa yung mga pwedeng gawin sa isang research study. That's all po. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much to our presenters. We need, of course, to understand we and how will be able to start our introductions now. And a while ago, our presenter shared about the literature review, wherein we could able, of course, to look into possible research gap or how we'll be able to improve the previous study. Let's say, for example, if they have a recommendations or future works, most commonly, the researchers indicated the recommendations for the improvement of the study, or sometimes in some other journals, they will suggest future work. So we look into it for us to upgrade or to look into different research proposals. Another thing, of course, is the stages in crafting your introduction. We need to start stating the general topic and give some background. Better for us to provide a review of the literature of the topic, define the terms and scope of the topic, and outline the current situation. At the same time, we need to evaluate the current situation, what will be the pros and cons, and what are the identify the gap. So identify the importance of the proposed research, state the research problem and questions, and state the research aims or research objectives. In a research objective, most commonly in the field of IT, if we already indicated the statement of problem, no need for us to indicate the objective of the study. But if we have an objective study, it doesn't necessarily for us to have a statement of the problem. Because in the objective of the study, most commonly, we are focused on some technicality, in the objectives. But in statement of the problem, we focus on the statistical, the pure research actually. And another thing, of course, is that the significance of the study. So this describe, or this section describe or explain the potential value of the study findings. It should be clear in here for the target audience of the study and how the result will be beneficial for them. It answered the question, why is it important and to whom it will be beneficial? This might be looked at from at least two perspectives. One perspective would be personal significance. The other would be professional or research significance. From a personal perspective, consider personal interest in the topic, what personal satisfaction might be gained, and what kind of achievement might be possible. From a professional perspective, consider what information might be added to the field of study. Who else might find this information useful, and what other uses might be made of the study. That is a significance of the study. Another thing is, it is important for us to understand how to create a conceptual framework. Most commonly, in crafting a conceptual framework, it's just not only IP or as what we did before. most probably we are now crafting a new way on how we'll be able to create a significance of the study. So I'll just want to share this snippet of study in our group for you to have an idea on how we'll be able to craft our own conceptual framework. Again, those days that we are accepting the IPO, but right now must be conceptual based on your applications. Hindi na po yun yung basic before na. What will be the input, what will be the process, what will be the output. Okay, wait now. Okay, another thing, of course, is that the scope, limitation, and delimitation. I just want to reiterate everyone that delimitation is different from limitations, because delimitation means that you are capable to do or to add these modules, but due to the limited time, limitations. So that's why it's two different things. Limitation uncontrollable, delimitation is controllable. Okay, so this section set parameters of the study. The scope should include a brief statement of the general purpose of the study in the target user beneficiary of the study, the period of the study and features of the proposed software, and the scope explain the nature, coverage, and life frame or time frame of the study. Limitation are the inherent problems encountered by the researcher. Thus, stating the limitations of the study can be very useful for readers in interpreting the results of the study, because the limitation, on the other hand, explain all that are not included in your project. And I think that's it for this chapter.